Hi, I'm Carla Ray Thompson, and this is Unsolicited Opinion, Food for Thought Fueled by Facts, where I share my thoughts and talk my talk about how to navigate the world of notoriety and what's popping off in sports and pop culture. Well, before I go any further, I'd like to give a round of applause to the 2024 WNBA rookie class. In the words of the immortal Kim Kardashian, I'm obsessed with the rooks who are bringing style, grace, grit, and good game to the WNBA. And they are giving a lot of us a reason to tune in and turn up. Moving right along, if you've been following my podcast of late, in the last episode, I make a case for talk about representation matters. It was in relation to Cece Caitlin Clark as race and what it represents being the reason for her, or at least one of the reasons for her popularity. I still stand 10 toes down on that. But I would also like to add regionalism to that as well. There are other white players in the WNBA, dominant ones, widely respected for their hooping and dogged determination, like Breanna Stewart of the New York Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu, also of the New York Liberty, and my fave, Kelsey Plum of the Las Vegas Aces. As someone on the TikTok app aptly pointed out, all of them are from either coast, west or east, and Cece is the first real WNBA superstar that reps the center of the country. Midwestern in tone and demeanor. Different from another Midwestern sensation and upcoming WNBA first round draft choice, Paige Bueckers. Let me get back to what I want to get to. Representation matters, right? But now, the kind of representation I'm talking about is the team that works with the talent. Agents, publicists, managers, hell, maybe even momagers. Hats off to Kris Jenner. The winner of the slam dunk contest in the representation game, a relative rook who works with a rook, Janine O. Of Clearview Sports, who I will refer to as Jersey Janine, who represents Angel Reese. Jersey Janine's strategy is so strategic. Timing is impeccable. Jersey Janine gives Angel the perfect assist in the development of her personal brand. Jersey Janine has been with Angel for about 2 years. Angel is her main client, if not her only client. No worries. Sometimes smaller is better because that personal touch can be priceless. It clearly is in this case. It's clear to me anyway that Janine sees Angel as a person with a personal brand to be developed versus a commodity to be exploited. And it's also clear that they work together to craft that brand. Not a day goes by that Angel isn't dropping news about a new brand or business partnership. Since the draft, Angel has attended the Met Gala, the first NBA rookie and the second NBA player to attend the prestigious event. She did so while never missing a beat, attending practice in the morning, flying private to the event while having her hair done en route, attending the event, flying back to Chicago, and playing a game the very next day, and actually doing pretty well in that game. And very much in Angel fashion, she publicly addressed the doubters, kind of like a take that. You thought I couldn't do all of this and do it well? Huh. She even coined the phrase, maximize your 24 hours. And the Met Gala appearance happened on her 22nd birthday. Promotional perfection indeed. While Angel was having her most fab night, her best birthday ever, hobnobbing with the likes of Cardi B, who sang happy birthday to her, Caitlin Clark was attending the premiere of her co-executive produced documentary limited series, Full Court, starring Caitlin, Camila Cardosa, formerly of the University of South Carolina, having defeated Cece and her Iowa Hawkeyes, and also Kiki Rice of UCLA. Harpo, who this woman? Okay, let me take a moment to clarify something. Make myself perfectly clear. I will be making comparisons between Caitlin and Angel, not their performance on the hard court. Okay, I'm not going to say who's better, who has better stats. We're not doing that today. But I'm going to be comparing their performance in the public space, where perception is not just everything, sometimes it's the only thing, and how crafty communication can lead to countless off-court opportunities. My motive is to compare, not to condemn, and to offer some suggestions for correction if necessary. Okay, back to Caitlyn and full court party screening, whatever. It's happening at the same time as Angel's appearance at the Met Gala. To say that it was bad timing would be an understatement. It was all Angel all the time. From the time she walked out of the Mark Hotel on her way to the Met Gala to the final buzzer the following day. I had heard of Caitlyn's doc. I looked for reviews online only to find one on TikTok, a very brief one. And I did see a couple of clips, but some of them were odd because some had weird voiceovers. They weren't actual clips with the actual audio from the documentary. CC probably had no control or say over the scheduling of this premiere event and probably had no real knowledge of Angel's Met Gala appearance, but followers of Bayou Barbie, now Chai Barbie, probably could have guessed as much. Angel, social media savant, I guess, with the help of Jersey Janine and the team, teased this appearance, which was labeled as a birthday surprise, and had her 3 million followers anxiously awaiting info on the what, where, and why of it all. Caitlyn has social media followers numbering in the millions, I think, at this point, but I can honestly say, not really, I never see any content from Caitlyn's official account on my timeline or anywhere on the social media that I follow. The only Caitlyn content I see comes from those who are speaking for her or about her, be it the mainstream media or her fans. If Caitlyn or her team, as directed by Caitlyn herself, connected with those followers, fans, to promote the doc, maybe a quick live on Instagram or TikTok, short YouTube video or YouTube short. Hey everybody, this is Caitlyn. This is a documentary I'm doing. Okay, check it out. Something really that simple. An Instagram story, perhaps. Maybe if she'd done any of this, we, the public, would have heard more about the documentary, because those stories, lives, whatever promotional things she would have done online would have been widely disseminated, because it's Caitlin Clark. People want Caitlin Clark news. And she would only have to do something once, and it would have been shared with countless others. And the ratings, the viewing numbers, although pretty respectable, 500,000 viewers for each of the first 2 episodes, would have been greater. And the doc may have been able to track a more younger, more marketer-friendly demo. The demos skewed older, 35 and up, and they're probably more likely male, because it seems like that's a large part of her audience. And it's not black or white, it's just usually older male. Okay, I know Caitlyn claims that she's not online. That may be cue to her followers who applaud her, thinking, oh wow, she's locked in. She's not being bothered with all this negative, what they perceive to be negative, media attention. Maybe to them it also represents a certain kind of innocence. But being not connected is looking more like being disconnected. Back to Angel. So in addition to the Met Gala appearance, did I mention that Angel was styled by Vogue for this appearance and sponsored by Instagram, and her whole journey was chronicled on Vogue.com? Pretty good publicity, I think. Angel has also appeared in a Beats ad and gifted her teammates with their very own headphones. Then there is the Good American Jeans campaign for tall girls, and billboards for that campaign appear all over Chicago. And she purchased a stake, and not the kind you eat, in a DC women's soccer team, and appeared on stage, teammates in tow, at the Megan Thee Stallion concert in Chicago. How do I know about all these things? Representation matters. Yes, Angel has a great media following, but her team has helped her to maximize that following for profit, putting her in front of the best brands most suited to her personal brand. I want to also note something very strategic, even if it's sincerely how she feels. Angel dilutes the narratives that say current players are hating on the Rooks by posting a lot of photos with them. I think she went out with one of her teammates for a night on the town and posted photos of that. She has, of course, all the footage of the teammates going to the Megan Thee Stallion concert and being on stage with her. She has photos of her going with one of her teammates to get some ice cream. She makes sure publicly, whether it's through these photos on her social media or in interviews, she makes sure that her teammates know how important they are to her success and the success of the team. She says very publicly that she wants to take her girls with her. She wants to share those experiences, the experiences that she's been afforded because of her popularity, because of her celebrity. She wants to share those experiences with them because she believes her success is their success and their success is her success. It's akin to a quarterback buying the offensive line gifts because without their protection, he can't produce, the team can't produce at the highest level. I'm also reminded of Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's always giving praise, always acknowledging his teammates in every interview that he does. Caitlin could definitely learn a thing or two from the quarterbacks, Ant and Angel. Caitlin's always been the star, the center of the wheel. She's never had to speak up for teammates that she perhaps doesn't quite mesh with for the sake of team chemistry and good PR. I have yet to hear her give praise to or even acknowledge teammates. Why is this important? Her teammates are being bullied online by her cultish fan base. Teammate Aaliyah Boston has had to delete her Twitter because of constant harassment. Also, it's not only her teammates that are being harassed. Aaliyah Boston, her teammate, addressed the harassment and oppressor. Caitlin, who was sitting next to her, started, for whatever crazy reason, was like giggling to herself like a silly sixth grader. I don't know the reason why Caitlin was snickering or chuckling. I don't know. But what I do know, it was one, inappropriate, and two, the optics of it was horrible. It was a missed opportunity to support Boston, like Flage and Haley Van Lith openly supported Angel during her final presser as an LSU player. Like I said in a previous podcast episode, Caitlin never starts the fire, but she's very slow to put it out, if at all. And right now the fire is burning red hot and is in danger of consuming her marketability outside of the WNBA and women's basketball. Yes, she can pack arenas, but can she sell products not basketball related? I know she has great deals with brands like Nike. This brand deal was never announced by the brand itself. I'll get to that later. FYI, Nike is an equity investor in the WNBA. Maybe the deal was a roundabout way of circumventing the rookie pay scale. How's that for a conspiracy theory? I'm going to give you a quote from Mark Davis, who owns the Las Vegas Aces, who are under investigation from the league for a $100,000 per player sponsorship from the Las Vegas Visitors and Convention Bureau. This is a quote from Mark Davis, like I said, the owner of the Aces. Nike is the owner of the WNBA, and they're allowed to sponsor Caitlin Clark for $28 million on one player, and nobody's complaining or investigating, Davis said. And I think it's great that Nike's doing that. But let's give credit to where credit is due. Las Vegas Convention Authority is stepping up and recognizing these women. I see what you're doing there, Mark, with the perfect deflection. I can't say I'm mad at it. Back to Caitlin and her deals. She also has deals with Wilson Basketball and Gatorade. And speaking of Gatorade, that commercial you probably haven't seen. I'm questioning the questionable creative. Why the extremely wide shot with Caitlin, or someone who we are to believe is Caitlin, shooting threes superimposed by small type describing her accomplishments. No voiceover. And since the info on this specifically referenced Caitlin's college accomplishments, with the sort of tease like what will she do next, implying that she will do great things next, the commercial will have an extremely short shelf life unless the season turns out to be a surprise success. Compare the Gatorade commercial to the NBA final spot featuring Camila Cardosa and Angel Reese, where they're in a speakeasy setting, a private club with other champs. They say champs only and place a kind of a sort of a pretend motion, like a pretend crown on their heads. By the way, they're the only two WNBA and NCAA players featured in the commercial filled with basketball greats and other celebrities. Why the crown gesture? Because Angel had established the whole placing of the crown, wearing of a crown, while playing at LSU. So one can assume that the creative team behind the ad, created by the NBA, the 50% owner of the WNBA, thought, oh yeah, I've seen this before. Oh, that's cool. Let's include it. The greatest challenge in making CC more marketable to sellers who sell to mass markets, whose consumers are as varied as the colors on a rainbow, is that we don't know anything about Caitlin beyond her basketball play. Reporters try to give her an assist, asking her about, what music she likes, listen to prior to the game, trying to elicit information to make her more interesting to their viewership, something outside of what she does on the hard court, something beyond the stat line, something beyond the actual game. Her answer, by the way, was nothing. Like, she listens to nothing. Can't really do much with that. Recently, I saw a YouTube video about a person who was looking at her during her pressers and was kind of complaining that these reporters were asking her all these kind of weird questions, and they were all really basketball related. They want to get more specifics about what's on the court. Why are things breaking down? Why are things happening the way they are? They were legitimate questions, but because she's not doing anything else, what else are they supposed to ask her? They have to ask her about what she's doing on the court because she hasn't really shared anything else about her life. If I can't ask you about your favorite ice cream shop in Indianapolis, I'm going to ask you about the game. In contrast, Angel talks about, oh yeah, I'm a foodie. She solicited from her huge fan base information about where to eat. She likes her wigs and her lashes and her nails done. She said, hey guys, I'm in Chicago. Let me know the best nail place to go to, the best hair place to go to, the best place to go to get her eyelashes done. All those things are important to make a connection with the fans, with people outside of basketball, and just makes her brand larger and more marketable and worth a lot more money. That was a little tangent, but I'm back. Representation matters. CeCe is repped by XL Sports, who also reps Peyton Manning, who is also the producer of the Full Court documentary. And now Kate Martin, her former Iowa teammate, who's now on the Las Vegas Aces, she just recently signed on with XL Sports as well. Although I think Kate, in my opinion, is far more marketable than CeCe. Kate seems to have a fun and easygoing personality and is on a championship team and is making her mark on the court in a very positive way. As for CeCe, yes, her reps have gotten her some good deals, but I still think she could benefit from working with an agency, a manager, a publicist that is smaller and perhaps more hands-on. Someone that can help her find her brand, her voice, an agency that could help her find that why and help her communicate that why to the masses. Help her become more relatable, not only to older males, but to women as well, especially women her own age, as well as they seem to relate to someone like Paige Beckers. You want them asking, what would Caitlin do? Kind of in the way they would ask about what would the social media sensation Alex Earl do? What would Alex Earl wear? How would Alex Earl handle this situation? You want to know, what would Caitlin do? I know the CeCe stans will refute this because they are stans. CeCe doesn't have the it factor naturally. Like Angel, like Cameron Brink, like Asia, and, I can say like Kate Martin. She needs more media coaching. I try to listen to Caitlyn's pressers. It seems like she's saying a whole lot of nothing, never approaches the subject head on. The media talks about what she does or about what others say about her. Once again, somebody else is spinning the narrative. Somebody else is in control of the narrative. That is always a problem. And please, 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 for the love of God, and for the former communication professor in me, sit up, speak up, stop playing with your face and hair, look up, give eye contact. Here's the thing. I don't want Cece to change her personality, but I want her to show more of it. What's her favorite food? Show, movies. What kind of games do you like to play? Video games. Is it tanks or tees, heels or flats? Like I said before, Caitlyn skews old and male. I know this from my own analytics. Angel, on the other hand, reaches a much wider audience and a younger audience. So we don't ever see Caitlyn out and about anywhere. We see her on the court or in the tunnel going to and from the court. In contrast, we've seen Angel driving around Chicago with her little tiny dog, does unboxing, she does lives. Now she's going to let us in on how she is going to decorate her apartment. And I am here for all of it. I tune in for the activity on and off the court, and I'm clearly not the only one. Back to Cece's agent, who in some ways hasn't really helped her but hurt her. Case in point, the Nike debacle. I'm not quite sure why they teased a $28 million Nike contract before Nike itself makes an official announcement. Not sure what they thought they were doing, but what they did do was make the target on Cece's back 28 times greater. And they started a racially tinged discourse about who deserves a signature shoe, with folks feeling that A'ja Wilson, with all of her accomplishments, deserved a signature shoe. All of this craziness that surrounded that, all these think pieces that were done, all this discourse, what ended up happening was that Nike used this commotion, this controversy created, to cleverly announce A'ja Wilson's upcoming signature shoe, the A1, which will be dropping in 2025. By the way, it was already in the works, but this was a perfect assist for A'ja's announcement. A debacle. Like I said, they never ever publicly announced anything. So maybe my conspiracy theory is correct, that they were just giving the money as a private equity investor in the league to say, hey, we know the $76,000, $78,000 is not going to be a lot. You know, she deserves more. She's the proclaimed face of the league. So the $28 million ends up being $3.5 million over the course of 8 years. It's like they're giving her a $3.5 million bonus. This whole misfire may have pushed any formal announcement of a deal with Caitlyn to the distant future. Nike is an international company. They don't want to be in the middle of a race war. A lot of black people buy Nikes. Black women buy Nikes. Black men buy Nikes. Kids. So they're like, hey, we're already doing this deal with A'ja. Let's just announce it now. Let's just say, hey, look, we hear you. We see you. We're already doing business with A'ja. Here's a shoe. It's going to be dropping in 2025. And also, once again, Caitlyn not addressing directly those fans, not saying anything to them and saying, hey, it's not about race. I'm not the great white hope. I'm not what you think I am. With her not doing that, then people are going to assume that she is in agreement with what they're talking about. She's okay with their behavior. You have to speak out. I remember when Selena Gomez's fans were attacking Hailey Bieber, and Selena said, hey, don't do that. Don't be mean to Hailey. If you are my fans, truly think you're my fans, support me, and then believe what I say and what I stand for, you wouldn't behave this way. Back off. I think Caitlyn needs to do that. Even if she wants them to cape for her in the comment section, it's just not good business. So back to the Nike debacle. Another beneficiary in addition to A'ja Wilson is Angel Reese, whose team, Jersey Janine and the crew, took to social media to remind people that, hey, Angel has had a deal with Reebok since October of 2023 and included, wait for it, a signature shoe. Also, note in the case of both A'ja and Angel, no dollar value of the deal was announced. We don't know how much their deals are. We don't know who said no, who said yes, and how much money was on the table. We don't know. As opposed to Caitlyn, we know all the sportswear brands that said no and what they offered. Too much information. The key to survival in this media landscape is knowing when to speak and when to shut the bleep up. Okay, Angel has nearly perfected this, when to speak and when not to speak. Almost. Still a work in progress. When she does speak, she speaks emphatically and clearly, and she's getting better with each interview, with each media appearance. And so the missteps aren't really missteps. She tweeted and deleted a comment directed at Charles Barkley and LeBron James. But the media misconstrued it as a possible shade towards Caitlyn. Although she deleted it, the tweet, which gives the appearance of regret, I know, you know, she knows, she most certainly knows that the message was going to be disseminated. So she could say, I'm kind of like, oh, I'm kind of sorry I said that, but I'm kind of not sorry because I know all of you got the message. Angel has also made it abundantly clear that other players deserve recognition and that no one player is responsible for the success of the league. Totally on brand as a girl's girl and a team player, despite her stardom. Barbie off the court and a brute on the court, ruffling the feathers of vets. She's the clap-back queen, but in a controlled and calculated manner. In contrast to Caitlyn's on-court displays that seem out of control. She's getting a lot of texts for yelling at the refs, for yelling at other players. Once again, not good for the brand. And especially if all these texts mount up. She's currently at 3. If she gets 7, she's going to be suspended. And that would be a PR nightmare. Because we know that her fans will go crazy. I mean, the question is, does this bad behavior make her even less marketable? I mean, maybe the problem is that Caitlyn doesn't see herself as a brand. That she just sees herself as a basketball player. So she doesn't have the real awareness of what she is or what she represents, and really ultimately what she could represent. She's always had a problem with anger management. She had this problem for years on the college level. But the stage is bigger. Got to clean that up. And that's where, once again, representation matters. This is where a publicist needed. Like, hey, you're at 3 now. Let's leave it at that. We don't want 4, 5, 6, and certainly not 7 texts. We don't want you sitting on the bench. How's that going to look to Gatorade? How's that going to look to Nike? How is that going to look to Wilson? Are little girls going to want to look up to you? You say, well, Angel talks back and but that's part of her brand. That's part of talking back, talking smack, part of her brand. It is not a part of Caitlyn's brand. She's supposed to be classy. She's supposed to be above it all. Another example, I love how Angel handled this. It sent the right message to the right people. After being clotheslined and literally slammed to the ground by Connecticut Sun's Alyssa Thomas, who received a flagrant 2 technical foul and was ejected from the game, Angel at the post-game presser said she didn't expect any special treatment just because she's Angel Reese. She, Angel, doesn't want them, the vets, anyone, to go easy on her. She even welcomed the toughness of it all and thanked Alyssa Thomas, for the rough treatment because it will make her a better player. I see you, Angel. Nice, nasty indeed. It's giving, I'd like to thank my haters vibe. She killed 2 birds with 1 stone with this presser. First, the message to the CC Standum cult. Don't demand special treatment for your star. And to AT, look sis, you tried it. See you next time. And just like that, Angel Reese, once again, as she had done before, set up another must-see rivalry. The main challenge, I've said this before and I will say it again, the main challenge for Cece is that she has allowed the fans and the media to speak for her as well as about her. My advice to you, Cece, my love, is you're treading on very thin ice. Just as they have built you up, they can easily tear you down. How long are they willing to give you grace before declaring you a dud? Will stats be enough to satisfy them, or will they demand more wins than losses? The clock is ticking and the window of opportunity is closing. The newly minted viewers are discovering other players, potentially more skilled, more exciting, and most importantly, more marketable, like the Asia Wilsons and the Cameron Brinks of the LA Sparks, with her model good looks and basketball royalty connections. She signed with New Balance and will most likely be the next one to bag a shoe deal. She was front and center in the WNBA Skims ad, and she can be a beast on the court, both defensively and offensively, giving body and buckets. She is an early Rookie of the Year contender who vibes with both men and women. And lurking in the shadows is Paige Beckers, who comes with her own fan base. She's been a household name in women's basketball for quite some time. And if Paige B can bag a natty in her final year at UConn, watch out, Caitlin. Your star may be eclipsed, as she is slated to be ranked number 1 in next year's draft, and to be crowned the new face of the league. One final thought. I spoke about the commodification of Caitlin Clark in my previous podcast episode, but that was in the beginning. The draft had just taken place. It has now gone to truly some other level. From the stacked schedule to the constant media attention, Cece says she's talked more to the media than her own family. So many tickets have been sold in her name, so many jerseys have been sold with her name. By the way, she does not receive one dime, 1 red cent from any jersey sales under this current CBA. Folks are clearly trying to cash in on Caitlin pretty quickly. Someone needs to help her out of this furnace before she gets burned to a crisp. Does Jersey Janine have a clone? Well, that's it from me for now. This is Carla Ray Thompson, and that was Unsolicited Opinion, food for thought, fueled by facts.